Hey everybody, and welcome back. It's time for more stories. I have no idea why I said it like that, but let's just read them anyway. This is from Reddit user Gypsy Stories. The creepy man in the red car. Hey Moonhorse.
Hi.
I've been watching your videos lately, and I decided that I need to get this off my chest. Oh, please tell me. Even though this happened a little while ago, I can't forget it no matter how many times I try. I posted this previously, but the story was taken down, but I needed this to be read, so sorry if it's a bit too long or boring. First time poster, long time lurker, that kind of thing. Anyway, on with the story. This event happened almost 2 years ago, and it still gives me the creeps to this day. It happened during the week before spring break. It was my senior year, and I decided to buy some brownies and zebra cakes to sell at school. I need to make the extra money since I was a clearly broke 18-year-old girl. To give you a clear background, I live in Texas. I'm sorry. And the weather over here is kind of bipolar. No, I know exactly what you mean. I live in Louisiana, so... One day it's sunny, then it's raining. Next thing you know, there's a tornado warning on the news. You'll soon find out why I mentioned this in the first place. Again, I live here. I know what you mean. I remember this being a Monday, and I'd run out of stock of my inventory, shall we say. So I let my mother and my nephew know that I'm walking to the Family Dollar. It took me a while to convince my parents to finally let me walk to the store. I was still the youngest child and the youngest daughter, or what my father and mother were clearly a little bit of helicopter parents, if you know what I mean. One day they decided I'm finally old enough to walk alone to the store across the street. I live in the very back of my old house, so it takes about 20-30 minutes back and forth. I've been doing these walks for about 3 years and never had a problem with it. I'm a Hispanic overweight girl, and I don't get those nasty catcalls or pervy dudes that honk at random girls in an attempt to flirt with them. I was clearly blessed with being overweight and also being a somewhat antisocial and awkward girl that never interacted with people, so it's kind of a good thing to have somewhat of a tan. Anyway, it's Monday, so I did my task, walked to Family Dollar, get my snacks to sell, pay for them, and just enjoy my day like it's another regular old day. That wasn't until I was walking back to my house when I was nearly scared out of my life. I reached my neighborhood, and halfway towards the house when I noticed this red car. It's driving out of the neighbors, and I assume it's a family going out for dinner or something. Maybe a relative visiting, family member since they're in town, I don't know. I thought nothing of it, minded my own business, keep walking. Soon I noticed the car getting close to me. A little weirded out, I assumed the car owner was going to the front office, maybe to pay rent, but nope, I was proven wrong. This red car parked a couple of feet ahead of me. My heart began pounding against my chest and my stomach turning into a knot as the window comes down. This Hispanic guy, probably in his mid-20s or early 30s, I don't remember since it's one of those memories I don't really want to revisit. This guy innocently asked me if I know this certain street. Relaxing a bit, probably realizing that I've just been overreacting and a little paranoid, I politely tell him, no, I don't really know that street, sorry. Thought that was that. I was wrong. This guy proceeds to grab his phone and ask me to give him my personal phone number. What? That's where the red flags immediately start appearing in my mind, along with the blaring alarm. Under-fucking-standably so. I was stunned and immediately froze on the spot. This guy had the audacity to ask a random girl for her phone number, let alone from his car, that he could have, kidnapped me or something, and I don't know. I put my house key between my fingers as a form of self-defense tactic that I learned from my brother. My blood's run cold, and I'm stuck in a pretty tight situation. If I run, this guy could potentially follow me with his car. If I say no, I fear this guy could get out of his car and be physically violent. The only thing I've come up with is a voice filled with venom and my face having that whole resting bitch face. Sir, I'm 16. I'm still a minor. I spat at him. This guy immediately started sputtering with fear, saying I was 16 despite the fact that I was actually 18. apologizing and saying that I looked older, and drove off with no hesitation at all, taking a deep breath and realizing this whole ordeal is finally over. But I was weary, shook, and emotionally disturbed. I was walking slower than ever, and I kept looking back in case this guy changed his mind and decided to come back. I didn't realize that I finally returned home and told my mom the whole thing. Immediately shocked her, saying that this wasn't the first time that a random guy tries to kidnap a young girl. It freaks me out that my old neighborhood, which I call home my entire life, I've never heard of that kind of thing, but, you know. When my dad heard about this, he was really angry. And not at me, just at this guy. That this dude thought it was okay to do that kind of stuff. To be driving the place we call home, and just bluntly ask a random stranger for their phone number. As if that's his way of flirting. My dad wanted to go out and look for this guy, and Mom and I managed to cool him down and tell him, don't do that. Ever since this incident, my mom drove me to the store for the next week or so. I always felt anxious whenever I see a red car. I'm not afraid of walking towards the store, but I am afraid of seeing that guy again. I don't know what I would do if I ever saw him again. Even though I moved during the summer after graduating, I can't help but still feel kind of vulnerable that guy kind of took my confidence, making me afraid of my own neighborhood, the one place I call home. Yet, he took that away from me. Sorry for the ramble, but I just needed someone to hear this story. Hopefully I can move on from this incident and put it behind me. Once again, thank you, Moonhorse, for giving me the courage to speak my mind. Well, you're very welcome. And yeah, that guy sounds like a fucking creep. Holy shit, man. Okay, so personally, pepper spray works good. I would advise pepper spray. You can get it for cheap. You can get it almost anywhere. And yes, that will fuck somebody up. If you've never been maced or pepper sprayed, let me warn you, it ain't fun. It ain't fun. I have, as a part of a training thing, I did with my dad. My dad was a cop, and they had this whole thing about if you want to carry the higher grade stuff, you want to carry actual police grade mace and stuff like that, you have to have it. You have to be tested. They have to use it on you so you know what you're about to use on somebody. It was not a direct thing. It wasn't like somebody sprayed me directly. I was there because my dad was not convinced he'd be able to drive after he went through this training, because this shit can fuck you up pretty bad. And the fucking guy, I know the guy too. I'm not going to name names. He was a friend of my dad's who was supposed to be the instructor of all this. Thought it was a really cool idea to do this at the at the indoor gun range that NOPD had. Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but pepper spray, like most things sprayed in the air, tends to fucking travel. He didn't just mace one guy. He maced the whole goddamn room. So yeah, what was supposed to be a 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hour fucking training exercise turned into 3 hours because nobody could fucking see thanks to this brilliance. So, oh shit. There's a reason you're supposed to do it outside. But yes, it does work, and holy shit, even if you haven't been hit with it directly, you fucking know. And yeah, I would advise carrying some. You can get it. There's a lot of safer methods now, they have safer containers and all this other stuff. But yes, you can get pepper spray, you can get mace. The only thing I will tell you, though, is if you plan to carry that, and this goes for all of you, make sure to check your canisters from time to time. Much like owning a firearm, you need to do proper maintenance on it. They do have an expiration date, and they will, after that date, there is a 50-50 chance they will be still useful. It's not that the stuff inside won't still, burn if you spray it. It's that it's a compressed cartridge. It's like a CO2 cartridge, which propels the mace out of the canister. Well, that CO2 can go flat, and so it won't propel either nearly as far or at all. So there is an expiration date on them. Make sure you follow that, that date. Make sure you see it and you're keeping an eye on it. Because if it goes flat, there's a chance that you may need it and it won't work. Also, if you do have it, make sure to, your switches work. Like, some of them have a special press switch that you have to push to the side to move the actual nozzle in place in order to push it down. Don't wait till the last minute to make sure that's not stuck, Make sure you can flip it back and forth. I'd say check it once every month or 2 months. You don't have to spray it. Certainly don't do that, because, that empties the canister and it's kind of ruined after that. Once the seal busts, it's kind of out. But make sure that your switches work, that it's in a safe place, somewhere that's not going to get, like, super hot or super cold that could fuck up the mechanisms. Watch your expiration dates, and be careful. Mace training is the kind of thing, like, obviously, pay attention to the wind if you have to use it. Don't spray into the wind, because it will come back on you. And the reason they tell you, if you plan to use it, to use arm length, to hold it out, if you can hold the canister out straight in front of you and use it, that's the best way, is because there's a very small chance that you'll get any blowback from that. Because, again, it's a liquid. It's a sprayed liquid, which means it will splash and it will scatter. Obviously, after what I said about being fucking maced myself, it will scatter. So make sure you have enough distance before you use it, and just be careful, because it is, it can be damaging. But that all being said, be especially careful with fucking people like that. That is super creepy that he was just like, oh, give me your number. It's like, I would like to say this is just some guy's really terrible attempt at flirting, but with a lot of people, you never really know. So that's another thing. If someone pulls up next to you or, like, somewhere and they're asking for directions, you should never have to, like, be right up against their car to give them directions. If they keep pulling out, especially, like, well, give me your number. Come, give me your number. And, like, no, that's trying to get you closer to the vehicle. That sounds like, they're up to something. Don't do that. That's creepy. But seriously, be careful, kids. That's Moonhorse's advice. Be careful. The world's a dangerous, scary place sometimes. But, that being said, thank you all for watching. I love you all so very much. If you'd like to contribute to this channel by writing your own story, you can do that by going to r/MoonhorseStories and posting it there. And if you'd like to keep the lights on in this place, you can do that by donating to Patreon or buying something from the merch store. Or you can do both. I mean, it's up to you. Either way, stay safe and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is. I don't know what time it is when you're listening to this. I just hope you're listening to it. Okay, I love you. Goodbye.